What up, everyone? Welcome to a True Underground Story podcast. I'm the host, Timmy Burner. Today I'm with Shuicide Holla. So, tell me a bit of yourself. Where are you from?
Cleveland, man, the east side, Lower Cleveland, man. I come out for as far back as I can remember, man. If I'm gonna say a specific street, I come off of 93rd and Anderson, man. And anybody that know about Cleveland, that's right there in the jungle. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the heart of the jungle. We gonna lead there. We gonna come around Colfax area, 75th Kinsman area, and then we going all the way up to like Bedford Heights type area.
So, growing up as a kid, what was your childhood like growing up in like what you were calling like the jungle of Cleveland? What was that like?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, it was fun because not knowing, not understanding the circumstances, we made it what it was. But I remember vivid plenty days because you got to understand, man, it's me and five of the siblings. When we on 93rd and Anderson and with no parenting, it's literally fall asleep when you do. I'm talking about at 4 years old, like 3, 4, 5 years old. It's fall asleep when you do and wake up and then just go back outside. You know what I mean? Like all day. Like I remember vivid. It was a girl I used to like that stayed up the street, like 4 or 5 houses up. I think I'm like 4 at the time. And I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was trying to tell this girl I liked her, and she was like, "You don't even have on underwear." Like this is how it was. Like I had on jeans with no drawers, dog. Like we was at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like we didn't really look at it in no type of light where it was like this is rough. It was just like it was what we had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, damn. So how did you come about your stage name, Shuicide Holla?
Man, taking it back to me telling you about them roots and how rough it was. We ain't really had too many kicks and stuff. Like we ain't have nothing. Like as a kid, I remember eating pie crust for dinner sometimes. You know what I mean? Like we ain't have much of anything. So like me and one of my sisters would even share shoes sometimes to the point where it was just like, I think by the time you were gonna get further into it, but by the time I got 7 and I went into the system, I already had the mind state like, man, I gotta get some shoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never really had shoes. So we taking it into by the time I was early age enough to go make my own money at like 15, I'm just getting shoes all the time. Like whenever I get paid, because you gotta think, I'm thinking back, we ain't have none. You know what I mean? So I'm copping all these shoes, and just as the years went on, it became like a habit of mine. It became like a collector's type thing where I began using shoes. Like I started off my music career 2012 as Young Holla, YOUNG. But you know what I mean? Like as a little bit of time went on and I seen on YouTube, like it's multiple people with this name. Like that's not really gonna be well for branding. Just not really trying to think branding wasn't a huge word back then, but just me thinking like I want to be unique. So I had to sell, like I had a pair of shoes that I stood in line 18 hours for, and I had some Concord 11s that was brand new, and I wanted to get some CDs to put out like another mixtape, and I ended up selling them for like 400-500, and I'm just like, man, I always had this thought like this shoe thing is just sticking with me, man. Like, and then I just went like, man, Shuicide. Like I'm just sitting on the couch in one of my writing days and just like Shuicide. You know what I mean? Like that sound like it. You know what I mean? Then I'm like, me and my guys that I got that's a part of my team, they was rapping when I came back to the jungle. We'll get further in to learn how that happened. But they was already rapping, and they was just like, you know what, we're gonna chill on the side and you rap. You know what I mean? We can see. You know what I mean? So Shuicide, it developed into a group of individuals that's gonna kick it to death. So it's Shuicide Holla. You got Shuicide CD, Grab, Tech. You got, you know what I mean? Whole little team.
To kind of rewind a little bit, you said at the age of 7 was the first time you were put in the system. What exactly happened at 7 that got you put in the system?
Basically, when I tell you at 4 and 5 on 93rd and Anderson, eating the nonsense and falling asleep and waking up, basically I ain't have no parents. You know what I mean? Like I never seen the pops. And then as early back as I can remember like one Christmas where my mother had this dude that was like our stepfather. I had to be like 3 because that's the only Christmas I ever remember. Like after that, like I remember them having like a little breakup, and then I stopped seeing my mother for real. You know what I mean? Like all of us. So by the time we went from Anderson and then went over to Cedar and then to Longview and to Wade Park and all these different grandparents' homes and doing all this jumping around, by the time 7 came, I guess the grandparents was just like, you know what? Nah. You know what I mean? Where the hell is y'all mom at? Like, I'm calling them people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I know you have children now of your own, correct?
Yeah.
Would you say not having like a stable relationship with your parents or having parents really around as a child, is that why you put so much energy into being?
Yeah. That's the whole meaning. You know what I mean? Like, that turned me up. Like, I ain't have to see what correct parenting look like to know what to, you know what I mean, what to be for mine. It's common sense almost in a sense. So it's like I don't hold resentment towards a pop or anything because it's like I went out and obtained the knowledge. I went out and obtained the knowledge. You know what I mean? I went and got all I could get and I'm still gaining by the day. So I ain't never really hold no fault at my parents because I was so young. You know what I mean? And then going into the system, I went into a good situation that helped me. You know what I mean?
And what age did you say you started rapping?
Man, I picked up the mic. Like, I was rapping in my teenage years because I got influenced by, you know, like underground music, the Big L's, the Swisher House movement, the New York MCs that was real gritty and crazy. Like, I got real heavily influenced by underground rap because it sounded like what I came from.
Right.
Like, the stuff I was hearing on the radio, I was just like, I just don't really, it ain't really connecting. I don't rock, you know what I mean? But I started rapping like around like 16, like 10th grade of high school, like 16, but I got serious with the pen. I was like 21.
Who were some of those artists, if you can remember any of them, aside from Big L, that you kind of like remember hearing and like?
Man, it's a guy, I swear to God, it's a guy, man. I've been looking for the man to this day. I think you can only find him on LimeWire, but his name was Straws. This guy was like he was the punchline champion. Like, out of everybody, I'm talking about D Block, 50 Cent, Swisher House, J.R. Ryder. Out of everybody I was listening to, the battle rappers, this guy's punchlines was next level, like to the point where you would come to school the next day and it'd be like a couple guys like, man, you ain't hear what Straw said? He said this or that. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, like this guy named Straws. And then another guy from Queens, New York, by the name of Graf, Grafh. Different. You know what I mean? Just real reality rap. These are the type of guys that, you know what I mean? I was just like, yo, this, you can really get witty with the flow. And Graf, like, the thing I liked about Graf was the fact that he not only was rapping with a lot of character and a lot of charisma, but he was teaching you like about his like downfalls and why he wasn't able to reach his peak at rap, you know what I mean? Or go much further than where he was at.
So when you started taking music seriously, what did like your friends and stuff think when you told them that you was going to start pursuing music seriously and not just something on the side?
When I pushed it out there, it was just like a couple people knew I could rap, but it was just like it wasn't really no big rift about it besides the people that already kind of like knew I could rap a little bit. Like, it wasn't nothing big about it, but when I put that first video out, that's when a few more people from like my peers from the school days or whatever the case start coming around and being like, okay, I see what's going on. But it was never really like, I never had a thought to see what did somebody else think about it. In my mind, it was just do a whole bunch and just showcase what you already know you have. Like, it wasn't really like put a song out and see if they like it and then put another one. I ain't never think like that.
What artists would you kind of say influenced you as an artist and lyricist?
Big L heavily. Graf didn't influence the way that I actually write or spit the verse, but he influenced the thoughts. Like, he influenced me mentally. Chameleonaire. Man, It just was more like just like the underground cats, man. There wasn't really too many at mainstream, but as we get further, like me starting to write in my career, yeah, it was a couple guys, the Rosses, Kanye, when Kanye hit, when 50 hit, as an underground artist, that was something big for me. But when Ye and a few more people hit, that's when I start, paying a little more attention to the mainstream.
You've been doing this for a while now, and you've probably worked with a lot of artists. Do you remember like an artist in particular that you worked with that you just really enjoyed getting to work with them?
Yeah, man. Jazzy Faye. Jazzy Faye is a very, very creative dude, man. Like, you got to think, like, when these guys get to the elite level, it didn't just happen by just, always taking 100 years or writing and writing and writing and writing. Like, a lot of these guys get to the point where it becomes like a muscle that's strengthened to where they just can, like, come up with stuff, like, on the spot. Like, that's how you get guys that can just go in the booth and just rap. But, yeah, man, Jazzy Faye was different, man. Like, it was like he was able to like, you got to understand, I'm getting deeper and deeper into the music, but the way I hear music is like, the way the beat resonates with me is when I get the key, I don't always know exactly what the key is by name, but once I get the key, I start hearing, notes and flows that match that key in my head. But the thing that I haven't got to yet that Jazzy Faye made me realize he was special was sounds, like just yelling out just random sounds, but they're to the key of the beat.
Right.
And that's something that he did that was just like, wow. Like that's pretty unique.
I think it was in 2013 you were nominated at the Ohio Hip Hop Awards.
Yeah, my first one, man. Yep, first nomination there.
How many times have you been nominated? Obviously, I know that they're not. How many times did you get nominated?
We got nominated from 13 all the way to when they stopped in 17.
Damn. Were they always for lyricists, or did you have multiple different categories?
Yeah, a few of the years I had a few categories. I think every time I had multiple categories, it just was I would win that one. Like most of the times, I think outside of year one, which was 13, 14, it was like that plus I want to say like maybe mixtape of the year, like maybe like a couple different, but then like 15, like the whole time I'm still just going crazy, wigging out. I'm dropping crazy.
Right.
If it ain't a project, I got verses. Like when I look back and think on what I did on that Cleveland music scene, man, I could see how it would make, peers feel away. I could see how people would look at it and be like trying to explain to me what all I did, but at the same time, it wasn't really something that I just sat and thought like, man, I did a lot. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was always like, yeah, but it's a lot. Like now when I take time to really look back, it was a lot, man. I'm talking about a lot. I did a lot, man. Not just for the scene, but I'm just saying I put in a ton of work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just put out a lot of work and made like visuals, mixtapes, projects, man. I've been working, man. Like I don't take too much time to dwell on those type things. Cause I'm still working. Yeah.
That's a good way to be, man, to just always have like your gears turning and always be doing something, releasing something, especially like in a day like now where streaming and there's like all these different algorithms you got to try and hit.
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact.
What would you say has probably been the hardest thing on you as an artist?
The hardest thing on me, like, what do you mean? Like, you mean like mental, physical, like
mentally, like what's probably been the hardest thing for you as an artist to like have to adapt to?
Man, honestly, the toughest part to me, and I'm gonna be real transparent because I know if it's any artist or anyone on looking, like it'll be able to help them understand a little bit more, to put a little more into perspective. But I would say like the toughest part for me was Running into like situations where it wasn't about talent. Running into situations where it wasn't about talent on top of just trying to create in sort of like a gumbo pot where it's like a lot of creatives. Like I'm not just the only person where it's just like you can stay away from it, you can veer from all the opinions and everything going on outside, but it's still right there, like right next to you, right there in front of you, right on the side, right when you log on social media, right? So it's like like having to really be able to get deep into my creativity with a lot of like white noise in a sense. But once I was able to escape that, I want to say 2018. I think I've been from about 2018 up. I think I've been at you know what I mean, going more and more in a good direction with the creativity. Like I'm able to just have free mind and work.
So kind of opposite of that, what would you say has probably been the most rewarding? Would you say it's like just like the recognition you get from your fans, or like hearing like that your music helps someone? What would you say has probably been the most rewarding for you?
All of that, honestly, like just I get into my moments where I sit back and I think like, man, like these people are actually not just taking in but reciting, giving me feedback, like really just like resonating with stuff that I've actually lived. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these aren't just. Of course, I'm you know I do my storytelling thing, but this is my life. You know what I mean? Like, and if somebody's willing to step into that shoe, which shows empathy and really understand and connect on that level, it's just like, man, I can't do nothing but respect that person. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I'm a super personal. I mean, I'm a super personable type person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't just be having that distance outside of me staying, you know, where I live, which is out of town. Like when I come around, like I can just be reached. I'm easily accessible, and all of that. It's all of that is helpful.
So back, I want to say you did it for multiple years. You had sent in multiple audition tapes to be on the BET Cipher. What
Uh,
was that like trying to get yourself put on a platform such as BET?
it was something. It was like a mini goal in a sense, like something that I just wanted to do. Like I felt like me watching them. I'm like, you know what, man, I can be up there. And you know, and the thing about my creativity, I'm not sure if this is every creative, but it's kind of like a challenge is helpful. Like if I see like, okay, this platform is coming up where I gotta go be on a platform that has more onlookers or this or that, it challenges me to step my game up every time. Like it never fails. So like comfortability is what's, you know, bliss. You know what I mean? Like comfortability is what is it will keep you back in a sense.
Yeah, it'll hold you
But
back.
a challenge is in my mind it can only progress you. Like either you can fold or you can go up. You can't really just be in line with a challenge.
If you had to, so you're trying to like pitch your music to somebody, how would you classify your music to somebody or pitch your music to somebody and like describe it?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm on year 10 now. I've taken 10 years to create something that I feel like is super unique, man. So it would be considered like, I don't know, I would have to call that joint like shoe school or something like, let me take you to shoe school because I can't really compare it to anything else. So it's like I can't really just use you know, the average word to
I
just
feel
be
that.
like, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
is shoe school. Let me take you to shoe school. It's not only gonna be something fresh to the ear, but it's gonna be something that homie gonna be like, well, let me go see what this about, man. This shoe school, man. And really, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like you're gonna fall down a rabbit hole. Like I do it myself, man. I turn on one John just by mistakenly. I don't listen to none of my music on no platforms like on a regular because I fall down a rabbit hole and I'm gonna be stuck for hours. Like let me go hear this, so I know how it is. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm not this guy that's just like super bashful, like go tune in. I don't have, you know what I mean? Not that I don't have to, but I don't want to do any of that. You know what I mean? I would like for people to naturally just fall into and be like, yo, what? Let me see what else. Oh, what? Whoa. Oh yeah, y'all need to be checking it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
once that turns into something that creates a reality, then it's gonna be like, man, the fact that word of mouth is still the biggest tool of promotion, man.
When did you create Shuicide Music Group?
As soon as I came up with Shuicide, it's gonna be at the beginning of Holla. As soon as that happened, like early, I was already in like I just had a business mind. I don't, you know what I mean? I can't really pinpoint where it come from, but I just already had the thought process to be like, let me do this, that, and the third on top of writing all the time.
What exactly all do you do with the music group?
My guys, that's basically my team. They all have different roles. You know, they all got different brains, so they bring something to that can move forward later and maybe have an artist under it or maybe have a producer or whatever the case may be. But for right now, it's just my guys and then like the close guys that I bring around. You know what I mean? Like they can rep the brand could rep them. They could, you know what I mean? It could be like it's cross branding, cross networking, all of that type thing. But right now, that's my brand. That's what's pushed. That's what's under every single record. If you go look on any platform, that's the brand, man. Shuicide Music Group, SMG.
Would you say your audition for the Double XL 2017 freshman
My
list?
G, Crazy 8, that's love. I appreciate you. What was that, my G?
Would you say the 2017 Double XL freshman list that you also auditioned for, does that fall under the same category as you were just trying to challenge yourself like you did with
Yeah, heck yeah. Heck yeah. Then at the time, like, yeah, like anytime I did a push or I do a push for anything that's like a challenge, like it's not only just me thinking, oh, I'm ready or whatever the case. It's all of the love and support that I get around that time. And then that just so happens to pop up and I'll be like, you know what I mean? I got momentum, buzz in a sense. Let's make for this push. And even if it don't go, you shoot for the moon. You know what I mean? And hopefully you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, even if it don't go, I reached, you know what I mean? And we're going to keep it going just like that. And you know what I mean? Like something will catch. All you have to do is be prepared for the moment when something does catch. Like, I'm not the type of guy that's just going to be ill prepared. So even if I wasn't ready for any of those platforms, I told myself I was so that I can utilize that challenge to be prepared for whatever comes in the future. Not even just that.
So I got a game here that I do during the interview. It's called This or That.
Huh?
I'll present two artists to you, and you tell me which one you'd rather listen to.
Got you.
It's a mix of old school and new school. If you don't care for either artist, you can just say pass. We got Tory Lanez or Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Bruno Mars or The Weeknd.
Bruno.
Jay-Z or Nas.
Nas.
Tupac or Biggie.
Probably Pop because I'm into the more intimate joints.
G-Unit or Slaughterhouse.
G-Unit.
Machine Gun Kelly, the rapper, or Kid Cudi.
Ooh. I never really listened to too much Kelly. I ain't gonna lie, but I listen to some Cudi. I never really took too much time to take. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I would say probably Cudi. Cudi got some joints that's been in movies and stuff that done grew on me. You know what I mean?
I feel that. Kevin Gates or Joyner Lucas.
Gates.
Wiz Khalifa or Young Thug.
Wiz.
Lupe Fiasco or Wale.
Wale.
Nelly or Akon?
Nelly.
Mobb Deep or UGK?
Probably UGK.
Lil Wayne or Drake?
Wayne.
Gucci Mane or Jeezy?
Jeezy.
T.I. or Ludacris?
Man. That's tough. Both of them dudes tough, man. Luda is different, man. Huh?
Luda don't get enough love in my opinion.
Man, Luda is one of the most different of all time, man. Somebody can't even begin to try to make a song like Luda, man. Come on, man. I don't know, man. That's tough. I'd probably say Luda or creativity, but who I've listened to more in reality was T.I.
Young Dolph or Nipsey Hussle?
Nipsey.
Outkast or Wu-Tang?
Outkast.
Eminem or The Game?
Probably,
We'll do E40 or Twista?
Twisted. Twisted nice, man.
He is. J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick.
So you've had a long career. How many music videos have you probably gotten to do in the last few years? I know as of right now you haven't released any music videos for the new project yet, have you?
Yeah, for the new project, yeah, we got Butter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you do. You got The Recipe.
Butter, Mount Rushmore, Not Today. We going.
Do you have like your own video guy, or do you just try and find?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to Builder Production. Shout out to Mom Pop. Shout out to Abel. Yeah, I got a few guys.
Recently, you just did an interview with Amped, and then afterwards or before, you did a freestyle over the Push and P.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play a quick snippet off the opening line because your opening line is really hard to me. Make sure I got my volume back on.
The stool, hearing I aim to prove. From it, he's spilling the tea on a nigga, turn it to a stain for you to 30.
I think that went over a lot of people's heads.
You they throwing you spoon in the shape of a noose. I ain't trying to aim but you, but
That right there.
Yeah.
Cheese,
Yeah.
I told him hit them folks with pushing peas. Outdoing window like
Like call your family Winslow. I set the bar high. Got all of these niggas stuck in limbo. Come and spit the finesse. All for a whiff of success.
You giving up sin to the best, it ain't about shit but a flex.
Like you was in your bag on that, man.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like Amped. I turned it up. I turned the knob up to about like, you know what I mean? I turned it up to like 6. But as you know what I mean, as we progress and go on, I ain't gonna do nothing but just keep turning the knob until I break that joint. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking to go back. I never did. That joint, that freestyle right there is special to me, man. That's one of my favorites. I gave that jersey away at my listen party for the album to somebody who's been a fan for a while. Like that freestyle gonna be with me for life.
I do fuck with that jersey because that's part of your merch line you had for
having the East Side, man.
I have to copy one of them. I wish I would have wrote down the year, but you performed at the Z1079 Summer Jam that had
2016
with artists like T.I., Wale, Young Thug, and a fucking super young designer. Like that was shortly his career. What was that like getting to perform at that?
That joint right there, that's something that added to the hunger. Like I want it for life. You know what I mean? Like going on stage and it's 20,000 people. You know what I mean? Not only do they know the joint, but it's like, bruh, like I don't know if you ever been in somewhere and you heard a lot of people screaming like your name. Like it's different. You know what I mean? Like it's something that's unexplainable. Like, but that whole experience, like having the back room like it was special, man. And shout out to the local cats as well. Yeah, I mean, that was on that John. They had a few, I think like 3 people. Like it was like 3 people. But yeah, that was an experience, bro. Like that whole situation, that whole year since I dropped that record that was one of the craziest times, man.
So when I was looking on your Instagram, just a random fun fact, you have Roger Saffold of the Buffalo Bills offensive line follows you. I found that very interesting.
Yeah, that's my homie, man. Yeah, we went to high school together. We went to school together since like elementary.
Damn. What would you say as an artist to you is more important to you, like on your Spotify numbers? Would you say it's your monthly listeners or the people that actually follow you as an artist on there?
Man, see, this is what most gonna learn about me and what a lot need to understand. None of that is really important to me, because think back. Of course it's there, and of course I acknowledge it and I understand, but none of that is important. Think back to the beginning of this interview. From what I came from, I told you that girl said you don't even have on underwear under your jeans. You eating pie crust and falling asleep when you do and waking up and going back outside, coming, not washing up, not doing nothing. To even have one person listening to me, and I came from that, that's more than enough.
This is a very humble person, aren't you?
Man, well, I don't got no choice but to be, bro. Like this whole, you gotta think, like from far back as I can remember. I mean, from far back as I can remember, I had to literally teach myself the world to today and every day. Like I don't got time to walk outside of my house and put on a mask because I'm in fear of what people think about me and then just manipulate people. I don't got time for that. That's nonsense, man. I'm trying to create what I was deprived of when I came into this world. Because now I got kids that ain't about to be outside and kids telling them you ain't got no underwear on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's to the max with me. Like, anything I indulge in, man, I got an energy from what I came from that's just like, you got to max out, man. That's before I came into rap. That's basketball. That was dance. That was anything I ever did. I got to max out. You know what I mean?
Are you currently signed to a label?
Nah, independent.
Independent? Do you plan on trying to stay independent your whole career?
Not the whole career, but when a situation come across, because this is what's gonna happen. Right now where I'm at is, I couldn't even say it could be an even better position because I'm independent. I got hit records that are still being discovered. I got hit records that have already been exposed. So it's like I got like a gumbo pot of a catalog that got so much work that either one of two things can happen. More of them can gain traction that causes a domino effect, like I said, going into the rabbit hole, which turns all the rest of the hits that are already known hits by the local into, and then when they go international, that could turn me into something crazy as an independent artist, or somebody that's a real ear could fall into one of them joints and be like, well, hold on. I know what's about to happen. I can see the play. Let me go ahead and intertwine and see how we can help out and assist and both mutually benefit. So I'm open to whatever option. One of them gonna happen. If not both.
You've been traveling a lot here lately based on your Instagram. You've been going, I know you just recently were in, was it Virginia or West Virginia?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. What all did you go to Richmond, Virginia for?
They was having I got one of my homies is a part of SMG, man, got his own everything going on. He a producer, Matlock. Shout out Matlock. He stay around that area, but he got a call about hosting like a show basically to select artists to be able to perform in front of bigger name artists. And they had been doing a few of these joints in the area over time. Yeah, I mean, and I just so happened to say, you know what, I want to go down to one of them joints. You know what I mean?
I feel that.
Just to rock out, mingle with the the people there. This is their city. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and holler at them. Check. You know what I mean? Boom, hit the stage. And that's how I did that joint. And it's only gonna turn into more and more. You know what I mean? That's how you create opportunity. You got to create what it is you're trying to bring to fruition. You know what I mean? You can't just sit around saying I want it.
Yeah, you
It
gotta
don't
go
work
get it.
like that.
Yeah, you gotta
So
definitely get off your ass and go get it if you want to get something, especially in like the
if it's
music biz. It's
that's
definitely
that's the tough, and that's the craziest, and that that goes back to what you was asking about the toughest part. Like now I'm in the mode of teaching. Like when I was saying that being in the middle of everything that's going around, you don't have to pay attention to it, but it's so close that it's going to kind of, if those that I'm speaking to could just be like, you know what, instead of taking my income tax and spending it ASAP, instead of taking all this extra, let me save up and plan and make trips periodically, 400 or 500 a year, 1,000 there, whatever the case, and go outside and get not only those new terrains that you touching so that you can add onto your repertoire what you know and see, but go and get the new knowledge that's around. Go and tap into these multiple cultures so that you can spread this gift that you're trying to put out. Like you can't just really sit right there where you from, because one, your creativity will be blocked, and two, the more and more you rise, the more shine you receive. That's not really received that well amongst your peers towards you. If Especially when you're in a smaller market where it's very hard to get shine, most people look at that situation like, if I can't benefit from it, I'm not helping it. Or my cousin rap too, he better than him, I don't care.
You just seem like you're just like a hungry artist. Like you have like such a work ethic. So I'm just curious because you just released an album on June 17th. How many tracks are you like sitting on that you could just go in and drop another project today if you fucking want?
Oh no, like I'm sitting on a lot of music. It's double digits. I won't say how many, but you got to think of how hard it was for me to really narrow that project down.
Right.
That's what I was thinking on. Like I've been recording. I was recording for a few years for that project. You know what I mean? And then I'm not only am I having records, but I'm also doing the freestyles and touching the industry beats and doing all this stuff. So I'm tuned in, man. I got a lot of stuff that's upcoming. You know, more visuals. I'm gonna do some more things with the mic. More videos, more music. I got some stuff in the cut, man. I got some stuff. But it's like, when it's your career, it's not really a rush to it. You can be more strategic, put a little more planning into the job, and make sure that you execute it correctly. You know what I mean? That's all you really got to focus on. Like, but you can't really think like that when you're in the middle of 10,000 people dropping every week, and you thinking like, oh, I'm falling behind or whatever the case. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone back and listened to your old projects. That's on my to-do list, but I've listened to the This Is For Eastside LP that you released.
Yeah.
I'll say, like, you have, like, I can tell that, like, you handpicked these and you made them to where they kind of are
Cohesive.
a story, because you got the therapy sessions on here.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell that you took your time to figure out a way to set up your album for the way that it is, to where it's almost telling your story of the East Side.
For sure on this one, man.
I personally appreciate you taking the time out, because you have a pretty large following, so I appreciate you taking the time out to even talk with me today. I got put on to you by one of the guys in your music group. I think his name's Luis or Louis.
Yeah, that's my homie, man.
Yeah, as soon as I started doing these interviews, he was telling me I needed to hit you up, but I had seen your following. I wanted to make sure I got 20-something interviews in to where I kind of got my flow and rhythm down to where I was a little more put together.
Right.
What would you say, in your opinion, is your idea of, like, cracking through the music industry, like, of making it in the music biz?
You mean like what does it look like to me in reality?
Yeah.
Basically, it doesn't even really have to pertain with a label in a sense, but being able to enter multiple markets, meaning even 10 cities or less. Perform at grog shop type venues. People come out. It's that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to be, in my mind, success doesn't even mean tens or hundreds of thousands of people because I come from so small of effort. So it's like, that's why I said even 10 cities filling up grog shop type venues and just having people relay back to me this pain and art that I'm putting on this beat. You know what I mean? Like, and that is what will garner, like, success for me, man. It could take 10, 20 years from now. I just know that the glue is just going to, it's like Carnage, like the movie. Like, once that black stuff starts spreading around, I just know. You know what I mean? So it's just breaking through to me is just being able to enter many markets. And because right now I got visuals, I got everything that one would say, you know, it's enough. But I know I still got a lot of work to do, and I still want to work even harder. You know what I mean? I want to be considered a great. It's not just, you know, something subpar. Everything in my life has been just a challenge to go to like the max height because I came from the max low.
To kind of like to like cement your legacy. For you, it's more about your legacy than
exactly.
I respect that. It's very rare these days. So just, I mean, you seem like a really down to earth guy, man. Like you can, hearing your story of coming from nothing and just the fact that you could think like, oh fuck, I'm gonna make me hundreds of thousands of dollars by being an artist, but to you, it's not even about the money. It's literally just right. You make your legacy is what you care.
Man, about. Like it's, you got to think. Like I know maybe not every creative, but myself, I done had those times where you sit back and you think like when you listen to somebody's story, sometimes you think, is it real or is it fake? But man, like I've seen people have the interviews and things where they say like, you know, like I'm out here in the crowd, is this, that, you know, I've listened to the J. Cole interviews, the Wale's, the Kendricks and all these different things. But man, when they really just like resonating with that pain and everything that your story was about, like that's a feeling that it's crazy to even talk about because you're living that as well. So it's just like a feeling that you can only really internalize in a sense. And just really just like either it can do one or two things. It can make you feel grateful and appreciated, or it can make you feel like I'm that nigga, which is, I guess, the opposite of humble.
Going back a little bit, in 2011, you tweeted about how Eminem destroyed the BET Cypher Award.
Man, yeah.
Was that, I don't remember personally, was that the one that he did with all the Slaughterhouse members?
Man, yeah, man, he wigged out. He went for like a good 5 minutes, man, but it was a well thought out verse, man. That was a well thought out verse.
So, because I can tell that you care about, you've talked about how you want to like advise the younger generations of people trying to be artists. What would be some advice that you would give to younger you in 10th grade when you started rapping, or a kid right now that wants to start pursuing music? What would be some advice that you would give to them?
I would say keep doing it every day. Like at least, because I ain't gonna act like I never took a break, but I did not take one break from writing every day till probably like 4 years. Like I had to write something every day for like 4 years, which was from like 12, 13, 14, 15. I think I just took a break 15 after Achilles Tongue mixtape, which was hosted by Mr. Peter Parker, because I put a lot into that tape. So I wanted to sit back and kind of like resonate with the people about it, because that was like my first big release on live mixtapes and everything.
What was that moment like for you? Like, was that just super surreal to get put on?
Yeah, like that Achilles Tongue was like an era that was real special. Like that's gonna stick with me as well. But it was just like I did a lot. Like 13, from the time I won that first Ohio Hip Hop Award, I was like, okay, I got this award. I can't slack. So 14, I came right back wigging out. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta go run it again. 15, it was like, I already was like having all this momentum. I was all these video. I was doing so much stuff. And then it was time for that project. Like they had been getting like little small mixtapes and a couple industry freestyles, a bunch of industry freestyles. But it was like it's time for that all original tape that really defines you. Like this is year 3 for you. This is year 3 for you. Like it's time for that tape. And I just sucked it up and I'm talking about like I dug deep on Achilles' tongue. It was like 18 tracks. So that John was like, and that John special, man. I haven't listened to it in some years, man, but I might just dig into that tonight. I ain't gonna lie to you. That joint was special, man. And then it was like the people accepted it. Like my live mixtapes rating was crazy. Like it was like literally only like 40 people was mad out of like 400 or something. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know how they had like that ratio they used to have? That joint ended up going like being ranked on a certain, like that joint was special, man. And they showed love, they showed appreciation, man. And after that, I really took a break and was just kind of like, it was more of a thought like, what can I do next? Not, am I going to keep going? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you stay outside of the city right now, but
Yeah.
what would be some change that you would like to see, like in your community that you kind of grew up in as a child? Because you said that it was like the jungle. So what would be some change that you'd want to see up there?
Oh man, Cleveland in the inner city, man, it's a lot going on, but we're gonna have to cool out on the violence. We're gonna have to really just like, if we talking all the way down to like where I'm from, it's not super wild like it was, but we just gonna have to see a better agriculture all around. Like we're gonna have to need city men that's really taking care of these yards and these streets, and we're gonna have to get, it's a lot needed, man. It's a lot needed. That's all of that adds onto the fuel and hunger of me wanting to just go do something amazing, because I already know the humanitarian in me is gonna be like, I'm gonna try to fix the world. You know what I mean? Figuratively speaking. So like all of this is fuel, man. But where I'm from need a lot, man. But if you're speaking as far as like going into like the culture of what I could see something for like the music culture, you speaking of that?
Just whatever your community is to you. I try and ask this because something for me, like the reason I started doing this is because I care about underground musicians and how
Right.
I feel like a lot of mainstream artists, I liked their music more before they blew up, because you can see in their music where they started caring less and less. It became more just a money thing to them, not the hunger or the passion for music. And because I want to make my platform to a place where like I can hold a festival, get mainstream artists and underground artists together, and be able to donate money to like inner city schools and stuff that get fucked by the system, so everyone has a fair chance.
Yeah, that would be the thought. That would be down the line of the thought I was, you know what I mean? All of that, man. I want to do all of that. It's just gonna take a lot, man. Like where I'm from, it's real gritty, man. It's real gritty, even down to like I'm not sure if you've ever been to Cleveland. Like even like the further you get into the inner city, like it's not even real like schools anymore. They like I forget what you call them joints, where it's just like you just got like a banner outside of it, and it's just wild, man. Like charter schools, like charter schools. Like it's like a bunch of them joints. So it's just like I can look down and I can see what type of work I would put back, but the only way to get to that is for me to get to that. You know what I mean? And keep getting to it. So
I think I think you're gonna blow, man. I really do. You're a talented artist. So kind of moving on here to your discography that's on Spotify. In 2017, you released The Good Box, which has the track Get Her featuring Jazzy Faye. Well, I know we already kind of talked about. What was it? Did you get to actually meet him, or did you just reach out to him?
We was in the lab. Nah, we was in the lab. We created that from scratch, man. That's why it's so special. Like I was down in the A, like that was right after Summer Jam. That was around that time. Like the Good Box didn't come out to 2017, but I had been working on it. Everything I'm working on is already ahead of time. You know what I mean? So tracks is already being made. Like I said, I got so much for now. So you got to think by the time the next John come, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, I already had tracks. So it's like that joint. But yeah, like I was around the time of 2016. I had the crazy drop, Summer Jam, everything go by, and I'm down in Atlanta. Like I want to say like later that year, maybe like October-ish. And we get in the lab, and he was playing through beats, and I heard that John, and it was just like that beat is different too. So it ain't something that you're gonna just wait for the boom back clap and just try to get gritty. I heard that, and I'm like, you know what I mean? This flavorful right here. So we just got the vibe into it, and he just was spewing out stuff, and I'm just in there, just you know what I mean? Lyrics coming ahead, and I'm just like, I'm ready. Go in the booth, I drop a verse. He come in there, hook, verse. Like, we went, man. That session was crazy, bruh. We went, man.
I mean, yeah, that just had to kind of, that probably.
And the studio was crazy. Like, I'm talking about this Atlanta. Like, this studio was crazy.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about Atlanta studios. They be different.
Man, yeah, this John was, this was that one. You know what I mean? This was the top of the line John, man.
What would you say is probably was like the overall like creative process behind the Good Box? What were you going for with that?
Oh man,
because I'm gonna talk about the cover art here. It's
because that's what I was thinking of. So I'm gonna try to give you like the whole gist of it. But like the Good Box was like, man, I had a son on the way. I had went through a lot. Like after Hit Them Folks blew up, like. I went through a lot of stuff, so it was just I don't know, I just had this concept in my head, and you got to think, like, I'm not sure if this is all creatives, but you can even Google this. Like, the way creatives work is, it could be like time, like a lot of time could go by and you just don't have a creative spark. Like, I've even heard Kobe talk about it, like, he would get up every day at 9 a.m. to write this book, but it wasn't a thought every day. It just was, he had to create the routine. So sometimes it just hits you out of nowhere. I just used to be in my basement a lot playing 2K. And I had these beats. You got to think, I always had emails that be having beats. I just go in there every now and then, I grab joints. I just would be playing beats, playing 2K and just listening. And I think Pussy So Good was like the first one that started flickering in my mind, which is number one. And then I think it went in order. Like, of course, Get Her was done in Atlanta, but Pussy So Good, Pussy So Good, Let Me See It
was next.
And then number 4, which is
After Hours with Friends.
After Hours. Those, like, that all came in like one session. Like, it just was like I'm listening to beats and I'm going through them. I'm like, yeah. And I literally would pause the game, write a line down, pause, you know what I mean? And I literally had all them 3 of them joints like in one night. And as you go through that joint, it's like an 8-track EP, but that joint that's one of my special like projects. That's like one of my biggest projects. Pussy So Good video about to hit 13 million. Like, that's crazy. Like,
that's some numbers, man.
So it's like that was even a John that you got to think. I got my cameraman. I'm brand new with my camera guys, Builder Productions at the time. I had the concept come to my head just like that the song did. I take the concept to them and tell them about it, and they just like, all right, but I don't think they really believe in me. So when Shorty walk out like that, they was like, whoa, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I just the cover art on this. I gotta shout out whoever you got to design that, dude.
Yeah, you see, and
I'm
that's
looking and I can see there's shit actually going on even further.
Man, that's the beauty of creativity, man. Like I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like I've been rocking with this same guy since the Achilles Tongue mixtape, which I told you was the first time John I took a break after, but I've been rocking with him since then, and it was like I met him on some just scrolling IG and saw like some of his work. Like he used to do characters. I'm like, yo, this dude is different. Reached out. He from the UK. Man, I don't know. Like we just built like a relationship through the email. Like, and literally like, listen to this, bro. This is what I'm gonna love to just talk about. Like as time go by, the way you taking in that, the way people took in Achilles Tongue and anything henceforth. I had to write this out in an email and send it to him. Every single cover. Not one did he come to me and say, I suggest this. Every single cover art that I put out since 2014, I had to write in detail what it's supposed to look like. And it all came right back to me just like it did.
For the people watching and for people watching in the future, the cover art for the Good Box is a cartoon of him staring at a vagina that is opened up with strippers dancing in the background inside the vagina. Well done, too, at that.
Not only strippers, though. Not only strippers, but you see fumes in the air. You see alcohol right here. You see weed right here.
Yeah.
So this is actually a cover that's teaching a lesson about the things that can endure once you enter the world of vagina.
It's that pussy money weed, man.
It's always a lesson, man. It's a lesson in everything, man. Everything is layered.
So then in 2019, you released an 18-track album, Out of the Barrel.
Out of the Barrel, man. That's, yeah. That's one of them.
That's a long album. What was the process behind this? Like, how did you get into your creative juices flowing to make an 18-track album?
Honestly, man, I think I may have only carried over one track from previous years for this project. But what happened was basically 2017, like everything ties in so crazy. That's why my life is just crazy, man. 2017, I hosted a listen party for the Good Box at a clothing store up in Bedford Heights. My guy, Box the Beast, he's the host of the event. Open listen party. I always have. I invite the general public. My guy Box is the host. This is in October. I dropped the tape that night. November come around. I'm doing the first show on the tour. Box is the host again. Boom. We do the show at the Grog Shop. All the joints from the tape. Boom. This is like November, like mid, like no, like say 15, like say like November 15th or something. We do the John. November 22nd, I'm driving to go meet Box to give me some bread for something. He not answering. My other homie not answering. I'm just like, all right, I'm going to meet him tomorrow. I go all the way back to where I stayed, which was like a 30-minute drive. As soon as I get in the door, my homie Snoopy Simone on the phone. Is that true? I'm like, what are you talking about? She crying, though. She calling me crying. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, what is what true? Like, what do you... She like, they saying Box dead. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, no, she's crying though, like frantic. So I'm like, hold on. I just came from over there trying to meet him. Like at that moment, like my mind just started going like this. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just came from over there trying to meet him. He wasn't answering. My other homie wasn't answering. I'm like, hold on, man. I'm trying to process her. I'm like, let me call you back. I get off the phone. My John just start going. You know what I mean? They like, and I'm like, I literally got stuck. Like this was like November, like 20-something, 17. I literally just got stuck sitting there, like in my basement. I think like 2 days went by. And I'm just like, how? Like that John damn near floored me. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, my homie just came around. Like I'm an energy guy. Like I know when something is right and something is wrong. Like it goes deeper. Like we could get deeper into that, but just speak on the surface level. I'm an energy guy, man, and I know when the vibe is right, and vibe was right with my boy. You know what I mean? Like He was backstage Summer Jam with me. Like, he had been with me since like for like at least 2-3 years. So it was like we was rocking, man. But that situation floored me to the point where that was end of 2017. April 2018, I moved out of Cleveland. I took the whole 2018 off from music, period. The Good Box was the last thing I did. Took the whole 18 off. I'm down in VA, just like, you know what I mean? Like, for a long time, like, I'm just sitting around, like, just trying to like, think about everything that just transpired in the last few years. And it was just like, I want to say probably like April, May, June, July, August, like September-ish, I finally start like wanting to listen to some beats and stuff again.
Right.
It was like, you know what I mean? Let me go into the email. I put an email out like, yo, send Johns to this email. And since I did that email for real, man, that email got like 20, 30,000 emails. But my homie who created Hit Them Folks, which was my very first smash hit, he sends packs every often. His name is Ya Beats. Went into a couple of his packs, and I just kept hearing this beat that just had this crazy twang to it. Like, it was that, man. Like, this beat was that. Like, this was one of the best beats I probably had heard to that day. And I'm like, yo, this John is crazy. Like, and that John, like, super inspired me to the point where it was just like, I wasn't in Cleveland no more. I didn't have to prove nothing to nobody about my lyrical ability. I didn't really care. I never really cared to act like I just was this super elite lyricist. I just liked to be max level with it. So once I had all of that behind me, I'm like, I lost my bro. I gotta, you know what I mean? It can't be so. I gotta go. You know what I mean? So I'm doing whatever it takes. I kept hearing this beat. I start spewing out lyrics, busting that jig at the door. Told the nigga pull up the back, please. What you want? Good, I got more. After the fool who asking, think about robbing me. And I came up with 50-50 Hamlet, which became, it just went as soon as I dropped it. But that led the whole entire movement behind Out of the Barrel. That's where we come in full circle. So once I came up with 50-50 Hamlet, I would say like I have 50-50 Hamlet is a composite of a lot of stuff. You're going to have to go listen to it and watch the video, but that John is layers, melodies, runs, harmonies. Like, that John is crazy. So it was like, to write all of this out, it took like maybe like the whole month of like August, because I say September, but I was like, I started listening to beats a little bit like August. It took like the whole month. So September, I go up to the city, Cleveland, and I record it and send it to my guy. He literally, I want to say like it literally took like 3 months before I even got it back, like probably even 4, because I don't think my guy, like, I think my guy was like, nah, like, this is crazy. I want somebody else to touch it, because he had this other company put their glue on it. But when I got it back, I knew it. I'm like, yo, this crazy. You know what I mean? And once I put 50-50 Hamlet dropped March of 19. So I took the whole 18 off. Did that stuff at the end of 18 with the, you know what I mean? Dropped the joint March of 19, and it just like immediately, as soon as it dropped, it was like, not only was the people like, man, you've been going the whole year. We've been waiting for you to release, but it was a great track. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely going to be checking these albums out tomorrow. I try not to like indulge too much in older music, because sometimes I've had artists that they've changed their style so much between albums that they want to focus primarily on the new stuff. But
nah, it's all a journey, man. Like 50-50 Hamlet, like literally, you got to think, I had left Cleveland 17, hadn't been to Cleveland since 17. I dropped that song March of 19, and I'm working on those 18 tracks you asked about. By the time October of 19 came around, I threw the listen party from 50-50 Hamlet, that one release. It was 200 people there.
definitely an impressive show out for having a whole year off. almost 2 years off, really, because you only released the one song until the end of 2019. Like, that's
Man,
incredible.
that's what I'm saying. So it was like it wasn't just me that thought 50 Hamlet was that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it was,
yeah.
you got to think and I credit it all back to, like I said, when I lost homie, it was just like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I got to go regroup.
Yeah.
Went down and cleared my thoughts up, man. It took almost, you know what I mean? Almost a year to create that.
I had a question. Not really a question. So, you released the Hit Them Folks. Fun
Mm-hmm.
fact, so I'm not from Dayton, Ohio, but I'm like got strong ties to Dayton, Ohio. I'm outside of Dayton. And
Okay.
when I was searching for you on YouTube, the Hit Them Folks came up, but it wasn't your music video. It was actually a person out of Dayton that I know had a video that he had recorded of people doing like dancing to that song. So I thought that was kind of cool that somebody down here in the Dayton area had a video from a way back of.
Man, yeah, that's definitely crazy. But you got to think, I lived it. I sat on the couch 2016 and got 10,000 videos a day for like 2 months. So it's like that joint is in places I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go on TikTok, you will see. Like you got to think, Jake Paul and them was dancing to the joint. Like that joint went, man. Like that joint went ridiculous, bruh. Like.
Is that your biggest like play count wise, like stream wise, or
I think
or is
I
Pussy
think
So Good?
Pussy So Good probably got the most views, but I think stream wise would probably be Hit Them Folks, or I ain't gonna lie, Pretty Girl been competing with Hit Them Folks on Spotify, and then Miss 808 is up there.
Was is Miss O? What was Miss 808? Was that a single that you did?
Miss 808 was the single I dropped right after Hit Them Folks. I did both of those at Summer Jam.
Oh, should show me. You released Mount Rushmore last year,
Uh-huh.
and actually you got 3 songs you released last year. You got Mount Rushmore, Not Today, and Butter. Was
Butter.
that like you trying to push for the kind of like you did with 55th and Hamlet, where you were just putting out the singles to kind of like build your hype back up before dropping your project?
Yeah, basically, it wasn't about really rebuilding the hype, but it was because the East Side movement is the people who rock with it. Like the turnout is at the shows and everything like that. So it wasn't really about that. It was more of I did one single last time, and like I don't have to just drop one single for the whole year. Like I can do 3. Like I can do them every 4 months. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case. However, I dropped them, but. That was good times, man. You see my man's with the butter emoji. What's up, man? Drop y'all butter emojis, man. That butter drop was that. You know what I mean?
So I got the numbers here for it. Yeah, Hit Them Folks has 1.2 million streams on Spotify, and Pretty Girl is creeping up with 727,000.
727, man. Pretty Girl that's a joint that I just be throwing because you got to think, man. When I go to Spotify, I don't really go to Spotify to be looking like who playing what, but when I go to Spotify, I look at first the playlist. Like I looked at like how many playlists like Hit Them Folks, Pussy So Good, Pretty Girl and That is on, and I'm like, yo, that be in my mind like, yo, somebody sitting somewhere and they just randomly listening to Jones and my Jones just dropped. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, it could be at a pool party. It could be at your granny's house. Like, it could be, you know what I mean? Like, Pretty Girl is on a lot of playlists, man.
So with the track Not Today, what was the process behind that?
You mean like the concept behind the record, or just me putting? You talking about the visual or the song?
Both actually.
Oh well, basically, man, the whole concept of the record is basically like me trying to motivate another artist into understanding that, man, all of these things, these distractions, anything, all of that is going to go on. It can go on. It can hinder you. But if you just tell yourself, like, man, nah, not today. Like, I'm not today, bro. I'm trying to get there, and you ain't gonna stop me, man. Not today. Like, you may have done it, or you may have tried before, this or that, but it ain't working no more, man. And it's kind of just like stamping that, like, whoever's saying this, not today, it's just like that day and forward. Like, bro, that was something that you used to be able to say, man, you don't get no hoes, and I'll be like, what you mean? And try to argue. Not today. I ain't doing none of that no more. You know what I mean? Like, that joint is no. It's a wrap for anything that's looking like malarkey. Not today, man. That's it. I've been down and I've been out today. Not today. It's been a cold motherfucking 9 years. I'm hot today. I used to give a fuck about your opinion. Not today.
Now, with Mount Rushmore, I'm trying to look at the picture here.
Uh-huh.
Who all do you have on the Mount Rushmore for the cover art for the single?
That's King Chip. That's Kid Cudi. That's Machine Gun Kelly and myself.
What is that? Who you believe are the ones that are carrying Cleveland as a city, music-wise?
Yep, the 2000s. That would be it. Before that, if it was 90s included, then Bone Thugs would be on there.
I feel that. That's more what I was asking, but then I realized you had the 2000s underneath the photos. What was the process behind Mount Rushmore, and what made you want to put that out?
Man, Mount Rushmore is one of them joints that is basically, man, after everything I've endured, everything I've gone through, everything I've created, everything I've done in general, like, it's kind of just like me letting you know that not only myself, but the people have stamped me. You know what I mean? And if one isn't willing to accept that, that's fine as well. But yeah, that's the rightful position, because not only was it prevalent at the moment, but I'm not going to stop. Like, I plan on continuing to go, whether I go further than any of my homies up there, or whether I, whatever the case may be, I'm going to be up there in mind, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I put in the work. I got the dedication for it. I'm going to go get it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I kind of known this for years, because it was other people who felt like maybe they could, like, be that. And in my mind, if you think that you are already there, or that you can be that, or whatever the case, you're not thinking about another person, that you wouldn't be worried about another person. And these people who thought like they should be there, or whatever the case, they were like literally like worried about me since I came in. And that's when I knew, like, yo, either I'm special or something. Like, why is y'all even worried about me? So once I realized, like, yo, nah, I see why. Like, once I started to putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I'm like, okay, so this person has been trying to sabotage me purposely. So I really belong there. Like, this person knew I did. And outside of those type people, I'm not looking to see if somebody else could, because whenever their turn comes and they realize they've put in a ton of work, they're going to create their own, or people are going to deem them that.
So that moves us in here to 2022. On June 17th, you released the This Is for the East Side LP.
That's it. It's for the East Side.
Now, what was the process behind this album? I know we've kind of already touched base on it a little bit, but what made you want to choose these songs? Because like you said, you handpicked each one of these songs out of your vault that you felt like deserved to be on this project. What made you want to choose some of these songs? Like,
this is for the East Side is basically, it was kind of like basically like my endpoint, like not really my endpoint of music, but me letting anybody who been listening to me, or my peers from my city, or anybody that knew me dating back, me letting them know this is my disconnection from being not really just being a local artist, but really my disconnection and my moment to teach about the things that I endured during my terms there. So this is really just me letting you know I'm ready to take on the world now. I'm stepping into a more of a challenge, bigger, you know. This is just me putting the perspective into mindset like I'm getting ready to go out here and take on the world. It's not really about what happened or what's going on in CLE. Not no more, not for me. It began the process with Out of the Barrel, but this was the one that stamped it. Like, that's the disconnection right there. I'm traveling. I'm doing bigger platform. I'm going different cities. I'm pushing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With what was the process behind Broken Part 1? Because I realized there's no Broken Part 2 on the album title.
Yeah. That's a good observation, man. That's my way of letting the people know to be continued. But in the same sense, Broken Part 1, man, is me literally taking you all through that day at age 7 when it happened.
Okay.
And exactly how it happened.
What is with with 7606 Colfax, was that your address as a child?
Yeah, that was where I stayed once I left the system, man. Once I left the system and I went back into the jungle where I was from and where my family was at, that was the address I was at. That's where I created my whole entire who I am. That's that exact address, that driveway, that living room. I sat there. I shot basically all my videos up to 2015 in that house or around that house.
Seeing as you're a Cleveland artist, have you tried to reach out to get like King Chip on the track, since he's still underground? He's not like a super mainstream artist. Have you thought
Me and Chip was in the studio, and me and Chip was in the studio in LA, and I want to say like November or December. I'm gonna be back out to LA this at the end of this year, so it's no telling. But we were just in the studio together probably about like 8-9 months ago in LA. But no, like it wasn't really no rush or nothing to be like we planned to do a track and stuff like that, but we both was doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like he was in the booth, I was shooting a video, the John that you see on my page called it's on there, I Feel Like, the intro.
Okay, yeah.
I was shooting the video, I was doing some stuff, so we linked up, we got in the studio, we chilled, kicked it and all that. We just ain't really recording no music. We weren't no super rush. We would bump back into each other.
Earlier you had brought up like you've always had like this good sense of ability to like feel energies and
yeah.
At what age did you start acknowledging that you could like pick up on energies?
It's funny, man. Like I'd say like 17, 18. Once I left the system, I basically like I went down into the inner city and I was just like catching a bus back and forth to the Heights and stuff. And I got with my guys that were dancers. They was dancers at the time. I wasn't like this guy that was sitting around acting or thinking that I could dance or something, but I thought that I had a little bit of rhythm. I wasn't just like no. So what I mean? So like when I got with them one day, I ran across them on a bus and they took me out to like meet this dance crew. So once I started dancing, I went out on the road. I was out on the road, and the guy who created the dance, he ended up like getting in contact somehow with these guys in Virginia. So they used to have events. Like he was from LA. They used to have events in Virginia, and I was at the events. Like, and I used to notice that like they just had like I wouldn't really say like ill will, but they vibe was off towards me, and I didn't really see it towards a lot of people. And then I started noticing little stuff happening. But it was one day I walked into a room, And like these is the guys that created it. So basically every dancer, whether it's 30, 40, 50 or whatever in this room, is emulating this guy in a sense. But I walked into a room and he was like talking shit about one of the guys. And I'm like, I thought this guy was like, you know what I mean? The way he was portraying himself online was like he was just like this super cool, humble guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like I knew like that's when I started feeling like, but still I wasn't thinking, let me go and tap in on that. So I would say when I really start understanding energies was like as of within like the past like 3-4 years. So like 20, 27, 28, you get what I mean?
Yeah. Would you say that's probably helped you in your career with being able to like tell if like a producer is keeping it real with you, or if somebody
I would say that yeah, kind of in a sense, but not really, man, because I'm not really just like I think now understanding and going deeper into the learning of the energies and what's going on with me and stuff like that. Like I have zero patience for like malarkey, period. Like I'm just like a straightforward, straight shot guy. So it's not like people be around me doing too much nonsense. Like you can't really just get nonsense off on me. I don't even open up the door for it. So it's like if I'm around somebody or if I'm interacting with somebody in person, I've already been doing it for years. So it ain't even really nobody new that's just being around being weird. I have had situations where emails turn weird and I just be like, I'll remove myself from something before I allow you to draw me into a pig pen. So no, it ain't really, I don't really notice too much nonsense, but it's prevalent. Like I see it, but I'm not about to interact with it. So I just deal like straightforward dealings, man. Like my same guys who been producing might be them same guys. Same guys as engineering gonna be the same guy now. Like if I deal with new people, they see that I'm a stand up guy. Like it's not too much new nonsense going on. You know what I mean? But yeah, being able to read energies is a gift. It's basically discernment and more. You just got to learn what it is that's going on, tap into that, make it a daily study like I've done. But yeah, it goes deep, man. It goes along with being an empath and all of these different things that most, because not all artists are, but most creators may not even realize yet that the reason you have that ability is because you're an empath.
I just got a few more questions. One of them's just kind of a little silly one. Do you prefer swishers or backwoods?
I was really like a game guy.
And then, is there like any track, or whether it's your own or like one of your favorite artists, like just a track from them that's like your comfort? Like if you just need to hear something to like get you out of a funk, is there a certain track to you, either out of your own collection or one of your favorite artists?
Man, I'm gonna say a John that has stuck with me like in my adult years is probably Kanye Big Brother. And then for my own catalog, it would probably be a record called, it would probably either be like 55th and Hamlet or Wolves. But yeah, Kanye West Big Brother is something that is just one of them ones.
I'm gonna give you the floor if you want to plug. Got anything you want to plug? The floor is yours, man.
Hey, man. Not really too much in general, man, but y'all know who y'all rocking with, man. Shuicide Holla, man. Overlook Artist hosting. Y'all know this is for the East Side, right? Be on the lookout. Y'all know new verses, new whatever, new everything y'all need is coming. Ain't no need to act like y'all being impatient. It's coming, man. It's me. Go ahead and check out that recipe video, man, if you haven't. If you did, check it out again. Share that John, man. It's going crazy, man. It's been out about 3-4 weeks now. And we working, man. We continuing to work. It's Cleveland. Stand up, man.
I'm actually gonna make a note for myself. You'll probably be getting a lot of notifications for me over the next couple days because I've been needing content. So I'm actually gonna probably share a few of your videos on my channel.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's go. That's what they there for.
Yeah, I'll probably end up sharing the recipe and the I feel like, and then I'll probably also share your amped.
They get the best of me. Blunt weed, you feel like ecstasy. Yeah. The vibes is different now, bro. It's different. I'm in my whole new comfort zone. Like,
start your business.
yeah, this, that.
I'll also probably be reaching out to a couple other like media outlets that I'm friends with down here in the Dayton area.
Okay.
Because one of them has a videos they do called Wordplay Wednesday where they have an artist come in and do like a freestyle on a beat. And then another guy I got is a videographer who does live audio performance videos.
Let's do it.
At his place. So I'll reach out to them and see if I can get them to get a hold of you and you guys can work something out. Because I think it'd be good. Ohio, got to rep the home team.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm down.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and giving me your time, man.
Man, I appreciate you for having me. Once again, man, y'all rocking with the Kids Show. Shout out Overlook Artist Hosting, man. Appreciate you for having me, bro.
No problem. Take it easy.
Let's go.